On August 21st, a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon will occur in Clarksville, Tennessee. And Austin Peay State University is one of the best places in the world to witness it. The phenomenon is the 2017 Eclipse. Join us for one of our Eclipse experiences, 7 p.m. Sunday, August 20th, as we host former astronaut Dr. Ray Seddon for a special presentation in the Dunn Center. On Monday, August 21st, we will host our Eclipse events in the Dunn Center for education and entertainment activities prior to the eclipse. Live viewing opportunities will take place at Forterra Stadium during the eclipse. Keep in mind that you need a pair of certified solar glasses to view this spectacle. For more information or to buy solar viewing glasses and commemorative eclipse books, visit apsu.edu/eclipse.
Hello and welcome back to the 91.9 Newsroom. I'm Rebecca Nanny and we're here to talk everything eclipse. Today we'll be hearing from various professors and safety representatives about what we can expect on August 21st during the solar eclipse. We'll be hearing from Austin Peay's campus police chief later about what we can expect here at Austin Peay during the eclipse. But before we get to him, we're going to be talking to Dr. Alan Smith, a professor from the Department of Physics and Astronomy, about the various issues regarding eye safety when it comes to watching the eclipse. Hello, Dr. Smith, and Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's jump right in. We need to wear safety glasses. We have a couple here in the studio today to look at and talk about, but why and for how long should somebody wear these glasses during the eclipse?
So anytime you look at the sun, it's fairly bright. And we evolved on the surface of the planet, and so if you momentarily glance across the sun, you're not going to do any real lasting damage to the eyes. But if you stare at the sun, like during an eclipse, that's where you start building up ultraviolet in the cornea, which will lead to cataracts, and you also produce sunburn on the retina. And you may have noticed that effect if you stare at computer screens for several hours at a time. And your eyes hurt, that's a sunburn on the retina caused by the ultraviolet coming off the monitor. And so looking at the eclipse, you want these glasses. These are basically metallized mylar that reject, and they come in various types and sizes, but they reject most of the sun's light, something like one part, only allowing through one part in about a million of the light through. So they're fairly dark. And what these do, because they're metallized, they will reject the infrared and the ultraviolet, and those are the two harmful areas of the sun spectrum that will bother us. And so it will protect the eye for long term. So during the eclipse, anytime that the sun is actually visible, you want to have the glasses on. So these are more correctly partial eclipse glasses. Okay. During totality, you actually want to take them off or you won't see anything because not enough of the sun's light will make it through the glasses to see the inner part of the corona, the sun's outer atmosphere.
And the totality only lasts for about 2 minutes, correct?
Totality will only last about 2 minutes here in Clarksville.
So these safety glasses, if we can't get our hands on these, what other kind of glasses should we use to protect our eyes during the eclipse?
Even if you can get your hands on safety glasses, you want the ones that are ISO certified, and they will have the ISO symbol on them, and it's the ISO certification. There's a number on it, 12312-2. Okay. There's also an ANSI standard, ANSI, which is the American National Standards Institute. And some of the ones that I know Walmart is selling are ANSI certified. They're equally safe. They're comparable certifications. But beware, there are some glasses being sold, especially on the internet, that are not certified. Okay. But if you can't get your hands on these glasses, then number 14 or darker welder's glasses. Okay. And you can get those at Lowe's or Home Depot. If you buy the full headgear, those are expensive, but the insert glass, and it's critical that it's glass or at least metallized, something to reject the ultraviolet. Number 14 or darker. Most of the stuff is not quite that dark, so the 14s are a special breed or a special kind, but they are available. Okay.
And so I know that you said these should be available everywhere, including online. Austin Peay is selling these at the Clarksville Market on Saturdays, correct?
Yes, that's correct. At the Clarksville Farmers
And they're
Market.
ISO certified,
Yes,
correct?
we sell the ISO certified ones. In town, Walmart is also selling them, and they're the ANSI certified ones.
Perfect. Is there at any point besides the totality part of the Eclipse that we can take our glasses off without causing major damage, or?
Well, if you're going to stare at the sun, no.
Okay.
If you just want to glance, the last few seconds of totality where you're looking to see the Bailey's bead effect or the diamond ring effect, which is the last little piece of the sun peeking through the last valley on the moon before it's completely obscured, or the first one, your eyes are going to tell you, oh, it's time to look away. Mm-hmm. That's not a problem. But one thing you can do, and what we actually recommend or would like for people to consider, if this is your first total eclipse, and for most people it will be, take time to listen to nature. And about 2 minutes prior to the start of totality, and then for about 2 minutes after totality, take the glasses off. Don't look at the sun during this time, but look off to the west-northwest, 300 degrees, and you'll watch the shadow of the moon approach. You need to have the glasses off because it's a phenomenon, and it will look like about your standard EF 10,000 tornado approaching at 1,500 miles an hour.
Wow.
And then if you lay out a white sheet on the ground in front of you and sort of in that direction, some people will see this, some people won't. But you'll start seeing what look like gray snakes crawling across this white sheet, and those will get closer and closer together. These are the shadow bands. And it's an atmospheric phenomenon that's still very much under study as to actually the mechanism that causes these. But they'll get closer and closer together until totality starts. Listen to nature, listen to crazy people. Birds will start chirping, crickets will be doing whatever crickets do, and if you're near cows, cows will do whatever cows do during eclipses and nightfall. And then for about 2 minutes after totality, the same will happen in reverse, except the shadow will then leave to, if I can do math in my head, 120 degrees east-southeast. Also looking like your standard EF 10,000 tornado at 1,500 miles an hour.
That sounds like a very interesting phenomenon. I hope some of us are able to see it when that happens. Yes. So back to the glasses, will these be sufficient for children? I know our eyes over the years kind of lose their ability to be as awesome, but children, their eyes are more sensitive. Will these be sufficient, or should we get them something more like the welder's glasses?
These should be sufficient for children.
Okay.
If the trick is to keep them on the children.
Yeah.
So duct tape comes to mind. You can also find basically the same type of glass, but in wraparound that actually fits over in a much better seal and all.
Okay, perfect. And do you know, I know we spoke about it a little bit with Dr. Buckner, photographing the solar eclipse. I know a lot of people want to do it. Is there anything they need to know when are you able to photograph it with a smartphone, or do you need a special lens to take photos of the solar eclipse?
You need a filter if you're going to be photographing the partial phases, because the sun is still bright. And so I know Dr. Buckner said the sun is something like 1 million or 1.5 million times brighter than the moon. I think he did. Maybe I thought he did. Anyway, the sun's about 1.5 million times brighter than the full moon.
Yeah.
And so even if it's 99% covered, so only 1% of the light of the sun is coming through, it's still 150,000 times brighter than the full moon. That's going to damage your camera if you're taking a lot of exposures of it.
Okay.
But you can use, glasses over the moon, over the camera lens.
Okay. Well, perfect. Now that we know that, so that should also work for smartphones as well.
It should. You have to be careful with the focusing, because the autofocus on most smartphones will bounce off the closest surface they find, which is not what you want.
Yeah. And so I know we talked about some of the damage that could happen to your eyes, sunburns on your retinas. Is there anything else besides that retinal damage that can occur from staring at the sun too long without the safety glasses?
You can get retinal damage, and that will vary person to person. We know from prior experiments that most of that damage is reversible given time. but the ultraviolet buildup in the cornea will lead to long-term cataracts, and that you can't avoid.
And how late does the damage usually show up after exposure, like staring at the sun during an eclipse?
Oh, having not stared at the sun during an eclipse before, I don't know. But it can be anywhere, just as any damage would, anywhere from a few months probably to several years afterwards.
Okay. Are there any instructions you can give to make homemade glasses as maybe an experiment with the kids at home, or even if you just go and Walmart's out of the Eclipse safety glasses, is there something they can use at home to create
so
glasses?
If you, rather than try to create glasses, and one thing that will not work is stacking layer upon layer upon layer of over-the-counter sunglasses together.
Okay.
That will not work. Something to do rather than that is build a camera obscura. Basically, it's the simplest form of a camera. It's a lensless camera. Take a piece of cardboard or aluminum foil, punch a hole somewhere between the size of a paper clip to a small nail, a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch in diameter, and use that to project onto a piece of white paper or cardboard some distance behind you, and you'll form an image of the sun. If you don't trust yourself making a hole in a piece of aluminum foil, use a spaghetti colander. And you look at the piece of white paper that you're projecting the image onto, as opposed to looking up at the sun.
Okay, perfect. And so now that we know all of the damage that could happen from staring at the sun, we know that it's dangerous even if it's just 1% of the sun shining through. Do you think that some people are making the eye safety issue more overblown than it has to be? I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of people talking about eye safety for the eclipse. Do you think they're maybe talking about it too much, or is that not a thing in this particular instance?
If I put my professional astronomer hat on, I think it's overblown a little bit, because, if you're talking to professional astronomers, you basically tell them this one time, they're like, oh yeah, that's right. But we're not talking to professional astronomers. We're talking to average citizens and children and teenagers, which is probably even worse. They don't listen. They know everything the first time. They won't listen. So the more times you impress upon them that it needs to be done, probably the better. So in general, no, we're not overblowing it. Eye safety is absolutely critical, because if you do something wrong, you can cause permanent blindness.
Perfect. Is there anything else you would like to share with us today that I haven't already covered? Anything about the P-clips or any more instructions on buying or using the safety glasses?
Not so much, but the glasses also, if you're planning on photographing the sun, same type of thing, you need a filter. For those you really want to get the glass filters, the metallized glass filters, it may be too late to get those now. There are a couple of reputable manufacturers in the U.S. I know Thousand Oaks Optical in California. I want to say California, but I think they're Arizona. It's too late to order anything from them to get it shipped in. But Daystar Filters, I think, still has things in stock that they can deliver.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for coming in today, Dr. Smith. We really enjoy you coming and talking to us about all this eye safety that we need for the eclipse.
Well, you're welcome.
And that'll be all for our interview with Dr. Smith. We'll be back in just a little bit with our interview from Karen Meisch.
Austin Peay is one of the best places in the world to witness it, the 2017 eclipse. Join us for one of our P-Clips experiences, 7 p.m. Sunday, August 20th, as we host former astronaut Dr. Ray Seddon in the Dunn Center. On Monday, August 21st, we will host our P-Clips events prior to the eclipse. Live viewing opportunities will take place at Forterra Stadium during the eclipse. Visit apsu.edu/eclipse.